which the traveler then the traveler reawakens. There it is. Reawakens at this point. So with the Taken King wiped out, we move into Destiny 2. Because, you know, what's better than 1D? 2Ds. The Cabal take on their opportunity and try to take out the Traveler. I kicked it. I kicked the bucket. Take out the Traveler. This guy named Gull, this big ugly, rolls in and realizes that we're kind of down on our wits. We just had this big war, big battle, and he capitalizes on it. Comes in, throws out this big like magic card thing, tosses it at us. So it's actually like the entrapment that takes the Traveler from us. Which, I mean, it doesn't go anywhere, but like he capitalizes on the power, leaving the ghost, all the guardians, everyone we know and care for as mere mortals. So we lose all of our light. We lose all of our powers, leaving us just strictly fight and survive. This man doesn't care. He kind of spits at us, tells us, you know, we weren't afraid of dying, but now we should be. we kind of run for a minute. We get away. The ghost, he's gone. Our ghost, our friend that was here, shows us a path, finds a part of the Traveler that's been broken from the original emit of the light, and shows us to follow the shadows, follow the light, and we regain our light, our power, and we are the Traveler's last and final hope. We regain the power of the light. We find a shard from the Traveler. The ghost helps us find this. We regain our light. We're the last possible survivor with immortality, regaining our powers. And with this, we must regain the Vanguard. We must bring our friends back. You know, those guys I originally talked about that were like almighty and powerful, better than us. They kind of beat out and ran away. So we got to go get them. Zavala disappeared, living on the moon Titan. Cade tried to like show off and go fight the Vex and got captured. So we had to get him back. And not Io, Cora, there you go. The female of the group was on Io, that's the word, struck in with grief and lost, and she was lost without the power. So we had to bring her back to the group. After regaining the Vanguard, Hawthorne, another hunter in the EDZ off on Earth, comprised this plan.
What's EDZ?
It is the Earth DZ area on Earth. It's like the hub where we would go to, other than the like last city on the next to the Traveler. This is just the other place. So like we like group up. She comprised the plan. She was like, "Yo guys, we got to take this. We got to take her power back because like, yeah, bring it in, because this man's the only one with the power to save us. So we got to get him in, and he's got to fight Gull. He's got to take the power back from the Cabal." So Cade, being trapped by the Vex, brings in a Vex teleport. Cora or Zavala, somebody brings in a Cabal ship and was like, "Hey, you know, drive this as close as you can, and like, we'll just teleport you onto the Gull ship." So we end up on Gull's ship, this crazy extremist that decided he was the almighty and deserved the power.
Wanted that light.
He really did. He really did. But he didn't deserve it. I mean, like,
He wasn't worthy.
he wasn't worthy. He thought he was. But, like, that only goes so far. We get to his ship, and we fight, and we bring him to his last breath. And at this point, he actually envelops in the light's power, bringing himself to an immense level and massive form of himself, which we fight as best as we can, showing off anything we could using fire that doesn't do anything, which the traveler then the traveler reawakens. There it is. Reawakens at this point. It awakes, imploding itself, taking Goal and blowing itself. I was gonna say it loud. Blowing its light all over the world, killing Goal, saving humanity again, and reanimating itself. With the traveler reanimating himself, there's consequences. Killing off the darkness, killing off Goal. We lose the speaker. And at this point, he was the only one to speak to the traveler. But he opened and confides to Goal and to us, in a sense, that he never actually spoke to the traveler. He was lying this whole time and never had full communication. Now, with the traveler in shambles, with us lost, and the power reanimated within all of our friends and family since we killed Goal, Ikora's spies, she's always had a team that travels around to make sure the worlds upon that we aren't on are safe. Comes across Osiris's ghost. And Osiris was the original warlock that was exiled from the beginning. And he was stuck within a Vex's mind. He was stuck within the infinite forest. Come to find that he has lived out his days since exile, stuck fighting the Vex, who have worked their infinite mind to live out their days trying to find a point where light and darkness didn't live, and the Vex were the only power that emerged. Osiris, in communication with us, walked us through the infinite mind to fight Panoptes, and to shatter the infinite forest, where Osiris thanked us because he was trapped. He then decided, living throughout the curse of Osiris in the infinite forest, that we could call on him at any point in time if we ever needed his help. After the Osiris trials and so on, we come to find Anna Bray that I think she was a hunter, maybe? I don't really know. She was of importance at one point in time, like way back then, like over there, and she reappeared in our storyline. She disappeared from the Battle of the Six Fronts and took that opportunity to live on without the constructs of the Vanguard, so that she could do what she wanted. She decided to use her opportunity as the missing in action to then find Rasputin, to then find the War Mind that we know to save, or was supposed to originally save humanity, that was constructed under her name of Bray in the original sense of Clovis Bray. Now, when the Traveler blew its light and immense across planets and worlds and galaxies, it reawoken Rasputin and the worm god that was attacking Rasputin at that point. At that point in time. Okay. Just getting dizzy. At that point in time, when Rasputin reanimated and the worm god reanimated, Ombre contacted as best she could, and we showed up to then fight this worm god, something older than the Golden Age, older than the galaxy itself. And we defeated it. We took it down. And Rasputin then pledged to be a defender of Earth and us and the Traveler, but work as an independent contractor in a sense, yes. At this time, the Tangled Shores started to dismember in fire, in fights, flames. Petrovenge then called on us because of the scorn. One of the original barons, Fickrell the Fanatic, was taking over power, was killing innocents, any from civilian to awoken military to guardians, and was fighting anybody on his turf in a sense. Was trying to take power from Petrovenge with the queen missing. So Petrovenge, on her last leg, on her basically back step, called on us, the Vanguard, called on the Guardian, and called on Cade 6. Now Cade 6, the original sharpshooter, the XO from the beginning, from before the Golden Age, reached out to her as a friend and tried to take on Fickrell and his barons alike. Now, without any support, because the man's just like to work by himself, went in on an onslaught and tried to take down as best he could. And at that point, he was a solo hunter fighting an army by himself, where he was blindsided by the scorn, by the barons, and taken down to his last breath. Where, at this point, emerged someone from the darkness, someone who we haven't talked about since the Taken King. Uldren Sov, the prince, the made piece of shit, came to life, came to show his face, and not only take out the Exo Stranger from the beginning, but used his own weapon against him, where Cade's last words, in mock and in making joke of, asked him, "How's your sister?" before the trigger was pulled, taking out our friend.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Miss you, Kate.
That one's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
That's a tough one. That one hits home. And our friend here lost his life working for us. Now, in remembrance of him, we decided that we needed to work with Petrovenge. Petrovenge made then friendship with Spider, one of the crime syndicate bosses. Like the Godfather in a sense. Like, hey, you ask me, you come to me asking me for a favor. And we did. we asked for a favor. And he asked us to then hunt down all and any barons that were caught in the crossfire that killed Cade 6. Now, Ikora was broken about losing her fire team member. The Guardian was broken and distraught about losing his friend that had carried him from the beginning. Petrovenge, one of Cade's partners. I wouldn't say friend. They were kind of close.
Frenemies.
Frenemies. Since they were from different beginnings. Called on us, the Guardian, to then follow out in missions. To follow through with taking out the barons that exiled Cade 6. We followed through with her mission to then find Curran Son, the prince of the Awoken that took down Cade 6. We get him to the point where he can't fight back. No gun, on his last leg, down on his life. He reaches out, and Petrovenge calls to us, take him. End it now. You know what Cade 6 would have done. He would have, and Ald himself cuts her off. Yeah, you know what Cade would have done. You know the difference. You would have followed through. But isn't it crazy how close the light and the line between the darkness are so similar? And as the screen fades to black, we're only left with a gunshot in the end to know that Curran Son did not live on past that day. So, ain't gonna force it. But after Cade's death, his last wish, in a sense, is for us to rebuild his weapon. His Ace of Spades. The weapon that's carried him for as long as we've known.
Such a good weapon.
On the rebuild of his weapon, we find his memoirs. We find 10 of them that were recorded and built pre-Cabal, pre-Red War, but post meeting us. There's memoirs out to Zavala. There's memoir out to Ikora, his friends. Where some of them are laughing and happy, some are lighthearted. Others are very deep and really shows how alone he's felt through these points.
So what with Ikora?
It really just shows how he was only close to her up to a point, and she was the only one that knew that he was recording these 10 recordings. And within these 10 recordings, he noted and made sure to confirm, as best as he could, the 10 possibilities of his death. With speaking to this, as I said, he reached out to his friends. He reached out to people close to him. With Zavala being his understanding if he needed to kill Cade for the better of the city. Ikora being the, again, betterment of the city. Eris, if she were to kill him for reasons unknown, it was her fault, he goes on to laugh and mockingly say. To us, the Guardian, that rose from the depths, he always knew and stated that we would always outreach his growth and take into his point of action and step further than he would ever. But there was 2 that were majorly important that ended the recordings. One to Petrovenge, and one about the Deep Stone Crypt. Now, the one to Petrovenge recorded how she understood him, and they had a somewhat of an understanding. but it had a coded message, and it ended with something other worlds, check this place out. Basically, it's on Incubulus or something world, whatever. But I believe it's touching on the final memoir, and that final memoir decodes and starts the communication of the Deep Stone Crypt. Now, the Deep Stone Crypt was the original Exo Purgatory. And now I put quotes around Purgatory because they're not in heaven or hell when they are created. The Bray family, when the Exos were created, had the Deep Stone Crypt. For every time an Exo ran through its life cycle, they had to then run through this purgatory, being a war machine, and live through this, where some built to help the human life, some built for war machines, some were then nice purgatory moments where they had friendly encounters with everybody they knew from current and previous lives. Now, Cade or Saint 14 or Herman Ding, somebody, Robot 86 that was back at the town or whatever, had lived through these points where they actually had to kill and fight their way to the top of the tower. And when they went through this point, when they went through the crypt, that's how they gained the number at the end of their name. So Cade 6 was only a reanimation of Cade 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And thus opening the opportunity or onslaught of their end missions from the Bray family. I was surprised I didn't puke, in all honesty.
Of course not,
Yeah.
I mean, it was close. You got close.
Mm-hmm. The water helped. Ah, it's the Dinkelbot. Halfway in.